Persona 5 was a game I streamed 3 years ago now, and I always meant to go and give Royal a try. I just never got around to it. It took a while. I ended up getting reminded about it when it got released on Xbox, and even then it still took me over a year to actually get to it, but here I am. Unlike previous games I've played though, instead of doing just like a quick compilation of footage with some music, which is what I've done before, I've decided that we will go through this massive game together in a newish type of video for me. Basically I'm trying something new. So let's do that. Before we start though, I will say that it probably does go without saying, but there are massive Persona 5 Royal story spoilers here. So if you're trying to avoid those, do not watch. The game starts us off in a mysterious casino as it did before, and the casino was one of my favourite palaces, so it was nice to see it again. It was during escaping the palace that I learned my assumption about this game was wrong. I thought it would be Persona 5, but essentially it was like some extra DLC type stuff bolted onto the end. Well, this is certainly not the end, and she is brand new, although I already like her. I still have no idea who she is, but we continue moving on, and the game continues as expected, and we're in prison and all that. With a bit of difficulty. I did wonder if I should make it hard, as I've done this before, but I didn't. I thought in my name, so they got my name. We also get to meet Sai Najima, who I remember liking, but it's been 3 years, so I don't remember that much. All I remember is that we keep getting all these flash forwards to the interrogation room, and we'll be heading back in there soon. Here we are, home sweet home. Considering how much time I spent here on stream, I didn't expect to miss it, but as you do. We meet Fujiro Sakura, who I forgot was a bit of a dick when you first meet him. Also, the room is well, it's a room. The room will be great, but it's going to take some work and some time, but we'll get there in the end. At this point, we're really just being introduced to the real world parts of the game. We've also gone to the Velvet Room to have a chat with our giant nose friend Igor. In terms of understanding though, we don't, or at least we wouldn't if we hadn't already played it before. We will learn as it goes on. For now we head to school and get introduced to the concept of school. I think I knew about that already. We also see a bit of Sai and even Akechi. Basically the game at this point is just hinting at what's to come. Now we're fully getting to start the game properly by meeting Ann and then Kamoshida and then Ryuji, some familiar faces which is good to see, except of course for Kamoshida's. And then we go to a weird castle, which of course I know, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We immediately end up in prison, which is a trend for us at this point, and get to meet Kamoshida again, looking just hideous. Our execution doesn't go well, which I mean goes well for me, but it doesn't go well for them. I have to admit, when I heard this, there was a smile on my face because I knew what was coming. I knew it was here. Here it is. Hello, Austin. It's been a while. And now for our first proper battle. I don't really count those at the start. And our first level up and all that. Kamoshida gets locked up. He had it coming. We're free now to look around. Well, what we're free to do is to try and escape, but easy said and done. But don't worry, this is the point where we meet a talking cat. I remember thinking, what the fuck, when I originally played this, and yeah, it still tracks. We later learn the cat Morgana is a party member with his own persona, and it's nice to get a helping hand from him. He does also keep his promise to, and he gets us the hell out of there. Turns out doing all that made us a bit late, which wasn't great. Kamoshida also doesn't seem to like us, which, you know, is fine. The other teacher doesn't either. We'll convince her later. If you know, you know. But now though, we, and by we I just mean me and Ryuji, discover that our phone is taking us right back to the metaverse. We're seeing Kamoshida's castle again. Morgana greets us and happy to show us a bit more, explain things to us, so that's helpful. We're learning more about the metaverse, how this castle is basically the way that Kamoshida's distorted heart sees the school, and so on. We also get some more practical lessons with using guns and so on, and we also get some more motivation to stop Kamoshida if we didn't have it already. One thing is for sure, he's a sick bastard. We end up being confronted by him and also defeated, which ends up being a good thing. Turns out the useless and brash Ryuji, not so useless, especially once he gets his persona. Captain Kid wasn't the kind of thing I expected the persona to be when I originally played this game. I had a lot to learn about the variety of personas and enemies. It was nice to get a new party member. And also, we had more reason to beat Kamoshida. I mean, Ryuji has no reason to beat him out of any of us. The game now seems very insistent on hammering home that Kamoshida gets everything he deserves. First we watch him playing volleyball against the student where he injures one intentionally. A little while later we really get to know Ann when Kamoshida is trying to pressure her into sleeping with him. So now he's gone from being a dickhead to a full-blown criminal. And it gets worse too, because he then takes out Arn's friend Shiho and she ends up trying to kill herself. I didn't show that for obvious reasons, but yeah, this is the moment I realised how serious the game could be. It was kind of a sudden escalation. Well, maybe not sudden, but it was an escalation. Anyway, back to the palace, and as you can see, we've brought Arn with us. Oops. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us at all. Anyway, we get our code names and we learn more like capturing personas and stuff, and we make some real progress. Until Arn's sudden appearance does, as it turns out, bite us. And this is naughtier than expected. I had forgotten at this point that this game could be this way, though perhaps I shouldn't have, considering what happens to Arn. Her persona is certainly something. As for that matter, is that outfit. This game isn't shy. Neither is Arn. Taking her appearance aside, we kind of move past that for now. She is a damn badass. Tough enough to beat a demon sitting on a toilet. Sure. We get back and situations explained to Arn and to an extent to us because we don't understand it fully yet, and now we have a full party. Acquisition new party members will now slow right down, but that's fine because we have a full party. I like them all. Okay, I'm not the world's biggest Ryuji fan, which I know is controversial, but he's fine, and I think the rest are cool. Oh, and we have to take Morgana home, so now we have a pet cat who's also a warrior. It makes no sense, but Persona be like that sometimes. Arn is now Panther, which is a great name for her, and we learn about Persona fusions and stuff like that. Full disclosure, I am using a fusion guide to make sure I get everything I need. With that done, it's time to go through the palace. In truth, I find Kamoshida's palace to be one of the weaker ones. I understand why, because the first palace really does need to be the easiest and the least complicated, but still. I capture some more personas, solve some relatively simple puzzles, nothing really to worry about. We do find some weird stuff though, like Kamoshida's torture chamber. Gross. We also discover exploding enemies, which is actually useful. And we find Kamoshida's gym/church, where we fight an angel. There's distortion, and then there's what this guy thinks, that he's some kind of god or something. I mean, the guy is literally a gym teacher. Okay, an Olympian gym teacher, but still a gym teacher. And more importantly, a dick. Something new that has been added to Persona 5 Royale, which I didn't know before I started, was will seeds. They're collectible, we'll need to get in all the palaces, which we can use to make them cool equipment later. We'll worry about that then. For now, we just need to continue going outside and parking around, and eventually unlock a pretty major shortcut. Not that I need it. What I do need is, having already picked up the second will seed, is the final one. And this is where I learned that the final one is guarded. And that is a penis. And it's coming, apparently. Oh my. I guess we now have to beat the penis? Poor choice of words. But we do it and we get the final will seed. They then merge into possibly the world's creepiest selection of skulls, and we'll scroll that for later. Now it's a case of running around, getting to the final area, and finding hideously dressed Kamoshida again. More importantly though, behind him is the man's treasure. Now it's just a case of sending a calling card. This is where we learn about them and we can get him done. Also poor choice of words. For now it's back to normal life, doing some things that will become staples, like getting stuff from the home shopping channel, building relationships with people, in this case Tajiro, reading books, going to school. The game has plenty of action but also plenty of downtime in between. Of course downtime has to be earned, and as we've not yet stopped Kamoshida we haven't earned it yet. As previously discussed, we have to send a calling card, so I leave that to Ryuji. As for the card itself, Ryuji clearly isn't an artist. But importantly, it got Kamoshida's attention, and that was the response we needed. Now it's time to steal. It looks like it could be really easy. We got there without any problems. Didn't expect Morgana to start making out with the treasure, but there we go. It all seems to be going well right up until we meet the world's most disgusting man. There's no way this can get any worse, right? With the, pink thong and the bikini-clad teenager. Oh, it turns out he can get a lot more disgusting. And the bikini-clad teenager is now in his drink. Oh, and naked women in his trophies and a bunch of slaves too. Wow, this is something. More to the point, this is our first major boss of the game. Taking out his trophy is the first step, then we meet a couple of his slaves. Shina's bad enough, but Shiho's so much worse. Christ. We end up beating the crap out of the fake Shiho, so we can no longer rely on her before we go after his crown, which is successful. With that, he's done. Though of course he still tries to run away, which is impossible, but coward is as coward does. Arn is understandably angry with him and definitely wants him dead, but she's better than that. Now it's simply a case of getting the hell out of here, which is just a cutscene, and we're done. First balance complete. Now we can sit back and relax while we wait for Kamoshida's change of heart. I mostly just spend that time hanging out with people and grinding stats. The waiting was definitely worth it because we got Kamoshida on his knees begging for forgiveness and admitting everything. We were successful and the Castle Lust is now complete. The game of course doesn't tell us exactly what will happen next, but for the meanwhile we shall celebrate. And what is a better celebration than a buffet? Considering everything we did, it makes sense that we get to have a full-blown celebration. This is also where we start to learn some more stuff we'll be dealing with later, like the fan site. We also bump into Shido. Yeah, Shido. This is another one of those, if you know, you know moments. And that's all I'll say. More importantly, we decide upon our name, which I just go for Phantoms as I was lacking any inspiration, and we learn about our next target, Madarame. Well, we learn about him in the future, we have no idea in the present, so instead we head to a place called Mementos. Basically, if someone's a bad egg, but they're not really like a wicked evil person, they don't get a palace, they end up here in Mementos. Also, Morgana is now a car. That is just a thing that happened, and we will be driving him around, because of course we will. Basically every level of this place, and by the end there will be a lot of levels, are randomly generated tracks with some collectibles or even mini bosses on all of them. For now though, we will go down to the level where this mini boss is and have a chat with him, where we first learn about Madarame properly. We have to fight him and kick his ass, but that goes without saying. Then we head down to the bottom, and by the bottom I mean to a wall, which will open later, and in fact we hit several walls in the game, but for now we've done all we can. I mean, this is a future problem. We head back and we find a random kid with a random car. He's clearly not human judging by what he says, but basically the collectibles and he'll trade for rewards. Also, when we leave, we're being watched. For now we get a couple of distractions, the first being a new student we keep bumping into, and I'm fairly certain was the character we met at the start of the game. The second is we now have a school counsellor, which makes sense after Kamoshida, and why he's not in the original is a mystery to me. I'm sure this meeting with Maruki and talking to him and all that won't lead to anything crazy, right? Regardless, not a now problem. Our concern is Madarame. We don't even know how to get to him. Fortunately for us, we find ourselves being followed by Madarame's student, or at least Arn does anyway. Understandably, her reaction is somewhat hostile to him, and look who it is, Madarame. How convenient. The student wants Arn to be a model for him, which is a bit of a creepy thing to ask a random woman on the street, but her answer is a maybe, because it is a way to get to Madarame. We head to the museum to Madarame's exhibit and even meet the man, and he seems very friendly. However, something is definitely off. You can't quite pinpoint it, but it does need further investigation, so we go and have a chat with this guy in use case. It doesn't exactly go well, but we do have one way to find out if he's a bad guy. Let's see if he has a palace. Yes, he does. Can we go there? Yes, we can. This museum is hideous. Wow. This man is supposed to be an artist, but from the outside this must be one of the most gaudy buildings I've ever seen. If this is what the man thinks is beautiful, then Madarame must have the artistic eye of a duck. Whatever his lack of artistic merits may be, we're not here to be an art critic, we're here to be thieves and break into his palace. Not too hard. The gallery though is weird. All the paintings seem to be of people we know. We even find a painting of Yusuke himself. These must be all the pupils he's stolen artwork for. This guy's a bastard. Not quite a Kamoshida level of bastard yet, but still really bad. And if we need any proof, we find a statue which is literally in honour to the fact that he steals artwork from people and that everyone should offer it willingly. Yeah, this guy's a thief and a bastard. There's also a door we can't get through. We need a change of composition, so Arn agrees that hey, she'll be a nude model, and then proceeds to do that opposite of being nude. Eventually she does get technically more naked, but in the process we discover the shocking truth. Madarame has been selling fake art to make money. In response to being revealed as a criminal, he calls the police on Arn. That's great. She manages to escape to the metaverse and accidentally brings Yusuke with her. Oops. Convincing him that his sensei is evil is a little difficult. Unfortunately, Shadow Madarame is here to do the job for us. Yusuke's realization of who the real man was is something I didn't originally expect. Yusuke's transformation and persona certainly had a badass introduction, that's for sure. You definitely go from I don't really know if I like this guy to holy shit, this guy is awesome. Enough falling over Yusuke. We have a battle to win with him, easy enough, and then get out of there, explaining some bits to him both inside and later over a meal. He does join us, which is exactly what we're hoping. We can progress in Madarami's palace a bit more. I do take a little detour though, doing things like reading and building up relationships, which I should have filmed a bit more of, but a bit late to worry about now. Once I'm happy with that as I can be, I head back into the palace and work my way through laser puzzles and painting puzzles. We're also getting the rule thieves again, as we did last time. I don't actually need to, I only need one for the achievement, but I'm thumping a completionist, so we will be getting all of them. Once we get everything squared away and secure our route, we head to Takemi, sorry, I always get her name wrong, to buy some stuff. I have been building a relationship with her, but as we've already established, I'm bad at recording things, and now it's time to make a calling card. This time we have an artist, so we're going to give him the chance to make it. In theory, this one should be better. The calling card looks really awesome. I really do love that hat logo. I don't know where Yusuke got the inspiration from. It doesn't really say Phantom Thieves, we don't wear hats, but it's cool, and I really like it. Now, on to the treasure, which is a full-on art heist, which is awesome. And no boss battle at all, this is all going so nice and easy. Of course that was sarcasm. Of course the painting was fake. And of course we're confronted by the shadow. There was never any doubt. Oh yeah, and also he left Yusuke's mum to die. Because he's that level of bastard. I mean, I didn't think he was worse than Kamoshida. Turns out he is. So now we have no choice. We have to beat the crap out of him. And out of him, I mean out of 4 paintings that are apparently him. I thought the Kamoshida final boss was weird, but this one is unique. It does take some time to beat up some paintings, but we do get to Madarami. He keeps making fakes. You know, I did a decent amount of grinding, so I didn't expect anything here to kill me. I was wrong. In my defense though, he was challenging. As the battle keeps going, his copies get weaker and weaker, and you can see them all essentially spawning in with stats that make them easy to kill. It didn't take much time, second try to whip him into shape. Good ability. With the man defeated, we head back into the real world with his treasure, which unsurprisingly is the Sayori, the real one, and now we need to wait for his confession. While we're waiting, it's time to continue our regular away from mission things we do, and this time I actually remember to record some of it. Things like building a relationship with Arn, boosting my stats, meeting new people like Yoshida, and then of course having conversations with Ryuji about the sexy cute mage with cat ears. I forgot about this part of the story. If you think this is weird now, just you wait. It's already pretty unusual for a bunch of high schoolers to be hiring a sexy maid for an apartment that isn't there. That already seems that they're after the special services that are clearly not cleaning related. But don't worry, the weirdness gets worse when she arrives. She does indeed confirm that they offer special services, but there's no way it can get any weirder, right? Well, Ryuji and Mishima bolt, because they're wusses, but what is surprising is she knows their names. And at this point, it should all click in our minds. She is not Becky. She is Kawakami, our teacher. Yes, our teacher is also a sexy maid / prostitute. Seriously, the direction the game has decided to go in. It's certainly different. Anyway, we get sworn to secrecy and then Becky leaves. There's still a lot more stuff to do, like building previous relationships, beginning a new one, yes, with the teacher, and all the story stuff, like a clean-up event. Okay, on the bright side, it does lead to truly getting to know Kasumi, and she's a new character. It's really nice to do that. Anyway, we celebrate by eating a massive Big Bang burger. I certainly couldn't eat that in real life. That's saying something. Another side thing we have to do, which is certainly less casual, is heading to Mementos. We have targets to take down and collectibles to get. Also, Jose will turn our wheel seed into equipment, which is the achievement I said we needed. There's also stickers to get and people to beat up, which is always nice, and we relax afterwards with some Kawakami, which sounds a lot weirder than it actually is. Anyway, remember Madarame? He's confessing, just as we hoped it would. And with the second palace and villain well and truly done, I'm happy. With him defeated and us getting the increased fame we deserve, we learn about our next target, another man we've never heard of until now, Junior Kaneshiro. We start seeing more of Sai and even a little of Shido. It's almost like these people are going to be relevant to the game later on. Also, Kichijoji is a thing. I knew about some of the stuff that had been added. I had no idea of the whole new part of the city. Also we're being followed, but that doesn't matter right now. We see all the shops and even play some darts before heading back. I look forward to seeing more of this place. For now though, I'm taking the prison guards out and about to explore the city. I don't know if this was in the original game and I missed it or what, but we need to do it now. Also, the darts we played, that's an actual fully fleshed out minigame, with rewards for our party and a full-on achievement for my trouble. We'll take happily.
That should do it.
The game continues to progress, although not necessarily explaining what will be relevant to us, like a trip to a TV studio, we meet Akechi. Again, if you know, you know. To us, right now, this seems a little bit odd. Maybe not odd as inviting the teacher / prostitute round, but still odd.
Only a minute walk.
I guess we will have to deal with this Kaneshiro at some point, but I've got some more regular stuff to deal with, like Yusuke apparently moving in with us and introducing everyone to Tajiro. We also see some more of Makoto, Sai, Akechi. It's almost like they'll be relevant later on, especially since Makoto was the one who seems to be following us earlier. We don't have anything to worry about yet though, we can just sit back and relax. Makoto is still on her tail though, and she knows we're the Phantom Thieves. Oops. And she insists on introduction. I guess we don't really have much choice. She wanted to change somebody's heart, and it actually sounds like a good target. The head of a criminal organisation targeting students. It sounds like the perfect person for us to go after. We can't for now though, because we need to continue building relationships, such as with Yusuke and later Mishima. Whether or not I need to build up every single relationship, I'm not 100% sure about that. All I know is I really want 100%, or at least as much as I can, and this feels required for it, so I'm going to do it. This investigation for Makoto isn't going to wait for us forever, and we end up finding some answers by interrogating the homeless, as you do in life. Leads us to an alleyway where we can meet someone who is recruiting students to shake down other students. Certainly a guy working for the man we're looking for, however, he wasn't exactly cooperative. Although it does help to warm Makoto up to me a little bit though. I'll say that word. We still need to get some more information though, and after doing some painting in mementos with Yusuke, yes really, we decided to go after someone who might know about Kaneshiro, the press person, I can't think what you call it, a reporter, that's the name, that was going after Madarame, who had nothing but wanted information from us. She will give us the information we want in exchange for information about Kaneshido. That's easy enough for us to do, and we have a name now, we can get to him. And we can get to his palace too, which makes him seem like such a great guy, seeing all the people in the city as walking ATMs. If we didn't know the man was an arsehole before, we do now. However, we can't actually get to his bank because apparently it's part of a giant flying saucer. Sure, we'll return to get him later once we can figure out a way to actually get up there. Makoto seems to help us with that though by getting herself kidnapped. Yeah, that is the thing she does. So we end up having to follow her and save her, and of course then we just get photographed at a nightclub in school uniforms, and now we're being extorted. That's the bad news. The good news is she is now technically a customer of Kaneshiro's bank, which means she can probably get into it. So we make the executive decision to take her into the metaverse. Now we're starting to see that she really is a student council president for a reason, because she's smart. This is a lot to deal with and she understands it perfectly and quickly. Also, our gambler was right, she's a VIP customer and therefore can get right up into the bank. We can even go inside and speak to him. And he's a creep, which we kind of guessed, but now it got worse. We need to get out of here. Unfortunately, he finds us, and it gets even creepier, promising to turn Makoto's sister into a sex slave, and then asking Makoto to prostitute herself in order to avoid that. Christ, this guy is a severe escalation from the bad guys we've met before. Makoto has the appropriate reaction to him, and then everything we wanted to happen with Makoto happens. Not only has she got a persona, but she's more than happy to see them. And the persona? Damn, it's definitely different from any other persona we've seen before. Makoto has now very quickly had a transformation from annoying student council president to a complete badass. I'm certainly inspired to make her the romance option, but we'll discuss that more later. For now, we're dealing with these enemies and getting the hell out of here. I guess we're a new member of the Phantom Thieves. Works for me. Speaking of relationships, once we're done, we meet up with Anne and Shiho, and I guess we're now dating Shiho? No, we're dating Arm. We're kind of gonna sort of be dating everyone. This wasn't my first choice. My original plan was just to date Makoto, but it turns out if you want to be a completionist with something, including room decor, which was something I was kind of big on the stream and I never got, so I want to get it now, it is required to date everyone. So I guess I'm dating everyone. Leaving my man-whoring aside, we've got some more important things to do, like heading back into the Kaneshiro palace. It has some challenges, but nothing that's beyond us. Also, we unlocked our first Showtime, another new feature from Royal, and it's certainly different in many ways. I cannot deny the effectiveness though. Progress continues along well, getting through the security and even finding real seeds. This palace hasn't really proven to be a major challenge yet. Even after running into Kenshiro and fighting the mini-boss, it doesn't seem too challenging, and now we're down to the vault, which is going to be the hardest part of it. We've got a massive essentially lock made out of bolts that we need to unlock. However, this is more just long rather than hard. Nobody's there word. Also, we've got the final wheel seed, and that means a crystal of gluttony. Just what I've always wanted. When we do finally get everything unlocked, it gives us a lift in the centre, and that takes us down to the real vault, and exactly where the treasure is. Well, the floating cloudy thing that will become the treasure. All we have to do now is send a calling card, and after Makoto and Ryuji develop a Showtime, weird pairing but okay, we decide to do exactly that. Let's take this Kanashiro bastard down. He doesn't exactly have the most scared reaction, but oh well. When we get in there, it goes by saying that he's waiting for us. That's the point that he turns into a fly. Sure, we can swat him. Turns out he's not the whole boss. The whole boss is a pig. Technically, a piggytron, as Kanashiro is very quick to tell us, but it's still a metal piggy bank. Actually, beating the piggytron is nowhere near as hard as you'd expect, but naturally it's not the only thing. He has guards, and these guards are a pain. They heal and they defend, two things I don't really want them to do. It's a case of using technicals, sending them to sleep, and slowly whittling them down. We only need to lower his health, not them. His strongest attack is when he makes it rain, but eventually he will do it, and nothing will happen. Why? Because he runs out of money. Unlike with all criminals, as soon as he's out of money, nobody gives a damn and his guards just leave. Now all we have to do is take the bug down, and that is easy. That's the good news. The bad news is he tells us about another metaverse user, something the Mother Army mentioned, but we didn't give him much credibility. And now two unrelated people have said it, so it seems likely. Regardless, we get out of there, and don't worry Morgana, we don't need roads where we go. The treasure though, we were hoping might end up being a ton of money, but the notes are all fake, that won't help much. All we have to do now is wait for the change of heart yet again. That means doing some side stuff like getting my first fully completed relationship, turning a bond into a blood oath, and also getting my first evolved persona, which I don't remember from playing the original game, but I'm not sure if it's an addition or I just never finished any relationship to 100%. I hardly 100% the game. As is pretty standard, I did a few mementos during my downtime and I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting death. As in the literal Grim Reaper. Shockingly, it went about as well as one might expect. Fortunately, other things went better, including getting to see the new Showtime, which was honestly cooler than Animal Gunners. Now, to keep being a hussy by starting my second relationship with the teacher slash prostitute who, I guess, is no longer a maid hooker, so she's just a teacher now. You'd think after propositioning her, because she's my teacher, she would say no, but no, next day she comes back dressed as a teacher and agrees to a relationship. If anything, that makes it more weird than if she was just a maid hooker. It's weirder now. Oh well, weird and definitely illegal relationship aside, we have the Kanashiro mission done. No big public confession this time, since he's not that kind of guy, but the man has handed himself into the police and we've been successful yet again in taking down a major villain. We celebrate by studying for our exams. Boy, Makoto sure knows how to have fun, doesn't she? However, as we're studying, we are being listened to. On the bright side though, we're heading to a fireworks festival which should be fun. The rain doesn't help with that though, and then of course the guys lower the tone, and by the guys, it's mostly Ryuji. It's always mostly Ryuji. We also get a little glimpse of Haru too, which sounds creepier than it meant, but she'll be important later. We also see Sai as the Jiros, which is odd, and then we start hearing about Medjed and the Phantom Thieves. Seems our next palace is coming at us full steam ahead. As always, we do some stuff in the meantime, getting to know Chihaya and Hifumi. Hifumi? Yes, Hifumi. It doesn't take long until we get dragged into that Medjed stuff though, or rather we get hacked by someone who's offering us to help to deal with them. Not that we can actually apply to them. It's odd, but we can't do anything about it, so we have to wait for this Alibaba to make contact again, and meanwhile we welcome the Koto to the group in a better fashion than just studying. It doesn't take long for this mysterious Alibaba to get back in contact though and tell us about the heart they want changed, an individual we've not heard of called Futara Sakura. We know absolutely nothing about her at this point, beyond the fact that she says the surname is Sejiro Sakura, and we need to know why is she being targeted. Sejiro definitely knows something. What? I don't know, but he definitely knows something. We don't end up being able to find out anything more other than possibly that Alibaba is Futaba, but we have no information to back that up. To find that information, we decide the best step is to break into Boss's place. That's smart. We end up in a creepy pitch black house with a terrifying Makoto, and I think that's Futaba. This is definitely Sejiro. On a side note, I am so glad he made the comment about where she was, because if he didn't, I would have. It's a really obvious joke. Our excuses seem to work, and we get back to Jiro's cafe, and then we find out exactly what happened to Futaba. And it's a lot. The game feels like it swings from like fun and casual and light-hearted to very serious and very emotional incredibly quickly. And we find out Futaba does have a palace despite not being evil. Apparently her grief and self-hatred is enough of a distortion to create a palace. Wow. That's a lot. Actually finding out how to get there though is going to be a challenge, so we have to have a conversation with her. The conversation is half text, half talk. We get what we need and we head to a palace, which is a desert, in the middle of a goddamn nowhere. A good thing we have a cat that can turn into a car, as we all do in life. Remember before when we were hoping for like a nice normal time, and then Ryuji helped to significantly lower the time? Yeah, it turns out that's a running theme with this man. And once again, he gets what's coming to him, and poor Yusuke and I get caught in the crossfire. Oh, and also we're at the tomb. Futaba's palace is a full-on Egyptian pyramid, which is pretty damn cool. It's also pretty cool to have an actual conversation with her shadow without it trying to kill us. It does feel like a different kind of palace. Oh no, wait, never mind. Here comes the Indiana Jones style boldly come and crush us. I guess it's not that much different after all. We go back for now with Arn taking the opportunity to confront Ryuji over his perviness. I don't think the man's gonna learn. Learning doesn't really seem to be something that Ryuji is good at for anything. Perhaps more importantly though, we have unlocked the new palace and it's time for us to get to work. Heading back, we chat with Shadow Futaba again. She will let us in further, but only if we can get back some possessions from some Tomb Raiders, as in the actual people who steal from tombs, not like Lara Croft. It takes them chasing around the city to entrap them, but eventually we do and it's time to head back. So far, so easy. That changes. We get a map and go right through the Rancor door. Okay, it's quick land, it's not a Rancor, but it's still bad. Although at least we can move around here. The first thing we do is unlock an achievement for capturing a treasure demon. I was worried here because I've gotten 4 of them. This is the 4th. I was genuinely concerned the achievement was glitched and that we were going to have more problems with completing this. We didn't, but at this point I was worrying. Progressing through this palace was somewhat challenging. The enemies are stronger than I normally expect. On the bright side though, we got to see Ryuji and Yusuke's showtime. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have Yusuke the chef, but I have to admit it was cool. We eventually get to finish a puzzle which reveals a little bit more about Futaba's life, and that helps us to open the first door. There's a few of these we need to deal with. The palace continues to be challenging, rolling boulders and challenges and later parkour to hold us back. It doesn't stop us from making progress though, it just slows us down. Also doesn't stop us from getting all the will seeds. Also doesn't stop us from getting to the end and finding the final door. Yeah, like Madarame, we've got some cognition we need to change first. This dungeon is certainly different, and a good example of that is seeing Futaba talking to her own shadow. So now though we have to get into the room. Surprisingly, she does actually allow us in, although of course she is hiding. Eventually we get her to come out and the poor little thing is just shaking, but it is enough for us to be able to help her. Well, that and the calling card which we slide under the cupboard door. Now it's time to head back to Futaba's palace and get this done. Because of our and Futaba's actions, we have entry, although still with a little bit more work until we actually get to the treasure. When we get there though, Futaba seems to have found the app to get into the metaverse. She has just entered her own palace. In other news, Futaba's treasure is a tomb, and we found something we're not expecting, and it's not Futaba. We have to instead fight a Sphinx, Liz, her mother. It's different, but we will do what we have to do. The Sphinx was tough though, it was really tough, and after getting beaten by it a bit, back to Futaba. And this is what makes this palace so different. The shadow isn't like this dark, evil version of Futaba. It's a manifestation of her cognition that is trying to help her. It's trying to make her see reason, trying to make her understand the truth, and to push the distortions away. Very different from the evil ones we've seen before. Futaba even gets to us, but seeing the Sphinx mother triggered all the flashbacks and problems. Once again, the Shadow comes in to save her. The Shadow reminds her of the truth, reminds her of the fact that she was blamed, not that she was guilty, that others were at fault, not her. And then something happened which I don't think anyone expected, especially inside of Futaba's palace. I think we know what that voice is, don't we? She's certainly got her confidence back, and she's also got a tentacle-producing UFO. Oh yes, this is it. That is one hell of a persona, that's for sure. And she's right. The fake mother has got to go. Those nose dives won't work with Futaba's abilities anymore. She'll just give us exactly what we need to shoot her down. One shot from that does reasonable damage, but also knocks her down so we can hit her. Even with it, it takes a while, but we do. Have no boss down. And really down, like falling down the side of a pyramid, kind of down. More importantly though, Futaba finally got her memory of her mother back, her real mother. And afterwards she just nonchalantly leaves. Okay then. Our exit though was significantly more chalant and significantly more dramatic. Especially the important cat car yeeting and everything. Still, we get out of there. Futaba though, doesn't seem to be doing so good. We end up going to, of all people, Takemi. Only time I think I've ever seen her as part of the group, but it does make sense, she's a doctor. Mikoto's right though, we need Tajiro. Fortunately, Tajiro's not too worried. Apparently this just happens sometimes to her, so I guess we don't need to worry. We'll have to wait and see what happens when the timer for the palace ends, which is in nearly 4 weeks.
I'll make sure she gets
Oh well, I guess we'll find ways to fill up our time. Progressing our relationship with Oya is a good step, as well as maxing out our relationship at the moment with Kasumi. Other things I do in the meanwhile include spending time with Mikoto, working in the shop, not for money but for skill point, taking on memento jobs, beginning to work with Iwai, I'm not entirely sure what that name. Maxing out my relationship with Ryuji, getting his persona evolved. It's basically a lot of social stuff, which I know some people find boring about this game, but I always really like it. I also did mementos, but that didn't really need recording, it's the same old stuff. There is also stuff that's genuinely fun for a lot of people, like the batting practice, before I continue to be a hussy and get my third girlfriend. 3 girlfriends and only one of them is actually appropriate. This game really doesn't give a fuck. Although to be fair, I can't say much. Takemi, who is definitely not an appropriate choice, was my choice on stream on the first time I played it. And honestly, she's still my first choice. Only reason she wasn't originally going to be my first choice for this playthrough was because I did it on stream. The day finally arrives, the countdown is over, and here we are just having a drink with Tajiro, talking a little bit about Futaba and her mother, and she just walks in and sits her ass down like she hasn't been unconscious for nearly a month. I guess the game just didn't expect me to finish her palace so soon. The important thing is she's fine now, and she does, eventually, remember Medjed. I guess she's just gonna do it now, but she can't really hear us, so who knows. We decide to clean her room while we wait. Maybe I'm just a lazy bugger, but that's not what I would have done. Apparently now she's done and then just immediately fell back to sleep. We're just gonna have to take her word for it. We get our answer the next day that we're watching the news and seeing that yes, they've been dealt with and that is officially another palace done. Now all we need to worry about is Futaba herself, who is still not handling the whole not being stuck in her room thing all that well. I assume we have some more time, but no, we're moving on to Akumura. He's our next target, and like before, we've not really heard of him now, but we will soon enough. Now we have a much bigger priority, and that is, as we said before, Futaba. We managed to get some information out of her in regards to Medjed and stuff, but beyond that, she's going to need some help. Fortunately for us, we've got the summer vacation, so there's plenty of time to do exactly that. The first day is us, Yusuke and Mikoto trying to help get her out of her shell, which is going to be difficult than expected, or more difficult than expected. Yusuke manages to wind her up by playing with her fake Power Rangers, but I guess it works out at the end. I guess that's progress. Regardless, we celebrate the next night by apparently sleeping with the doctor. I mean, it's a way to celebrate. Back to the actual task at hand though, you know, reintroducing Futaba into reality, this time with Ryuji and Arm. It actually goes pretty well. However, the next day, helping out in the coffee shop doesn't. Credit where credit's due, Futaba is trying, it's just not going quite so well. Next day is apparently trying on bikinis, which I didn't expect. Oh, thank God it's not on me. I was gonna say. The day after is more of a chill day. With Futaba actually out in public and everything, which is good. The day after, even more so, could put off the beast. And the game wastes no time in showing us Arn and Mikoto in bikinis. Somehow I'm not surprised. As for Futaba, well, She's trying. Things do end up going quite well, and at the end we get Futaba into the party. She's fully doing it for selfish reasons, try and find out what happened to her mother, believing it's connected to everything we're doing with the metaverse, but still. We're happy to let her come with us, even with this reasoning, because ultimately we are all going after the same goal. Now I have Futaba in the party, I really want to look at what she can do, and well, she's a different kind of party member in that she's not really in the party, she just offers assistance as she can. This will get better over time, there's actually some stuff we can use to boost it later on, which we do, but it's still cool. Even if she's not like a full party member, it's nice to have a new member of the team. Oh yeah, I knew I was forgetting something. We're going to Hawaii, some kind of school trip that takes people to Hawaii. Man, I wish I went to this school. All I got to do was go to muddy World War I trenches in Belgium. I wish I could have gone here. Anyway, moving away from my poor school experiences, we're in Hawaii. Why am I not surprised that the game is called Bikini that again? Also, surprised you scared. The excuse for him suddenly being here is flimsy, but it's still nice to do. We spent a bit of time together before seeing half-naked Kawakami. That's a sight. Let's not get distracted now. Oh wait, never mind. The next day I can hang out with Ryuji or one of the 4 love interests, and after seeing all the effort the teacher put in, I just had to go with her. The rest of the holiday goes as planned. We do make a quick diversion with Futaba meeting Maruki and also Kasumi meeting the gang in Hawaii. Nearly everyone is here apparently. When we get home though, things are suddenly very serious. We have to watch as the principal of our school has a full-on mental shutdown in the middle of a road and then gets killed by a giant truck. What a fantastic way to end the holiday. And also, we just come in like nothing happened. Like, we just had such a massive thing dropped on us, and then it's just like normal day. Things don't really get much better for us either. We start by doing some research on Akuma, but all this leads to is a massive argument, and Morgana just leaves. That can't be right. I guess it is right, since he seems to get in trouble when he's saved by a mysterious figure. Well, I know who it is, but let's not ruin the surprise yet. Without knowing where he is and being back at school, well, you know, we just have to keep doing what we're doing, all while Morgana and the mysterious person continue their adventure. The only thing we can really do is go after Akuma, because we know he's guilty. After all, Futaba's already found all the keywords to the guy's palace. Seems like Morgana would have gone to this place since that's what he first said. Also, Akechi, just for going in. I did not notice him in my first playthrough, but I did this time. Anyway, new palace and it's a space station. That's really cool. What's less cool is all the robot slaves. Evidently how Akuma views his staff. Sounds to me like a pretty standard billionaire CEO then. However, moving away from my pro-socialism stance, Morgana is the focus right now, not Akuma. So we go and see if we can find him, instead find a locked door we cannot get through. Also, new person. The Phantom Thieves seem to assume that they're responsible for the mental shutdowns, but she doesn't seem like much of a villain. Morgana's presence only proves that it's really not her. Seems he's gone and found his own, well, not party, but person. The new party is a bit cringeworthy. And also not so great, so they run away. We also had to get out of there though, at least we have the answer of where Morgana is. In terms of getting him back and the mysterious girl, that's going to be another problem. But it's okay, we literally just bump into her as we leave school. That was easy. It does seem like her heart is in the right place though. She's going after her own father, but doing it because she recognises him as a villain. However, Morgana has somewhat poisoned her against us, so we need to deal with them. Solution seems to be a memento stakeout, which worked. The apology and the forgiveness and all that doesn't do anything. We end up chasing Morgana through mementos, but still doesn't help. And then things happen. Haru gets confronted by this absolute creep, and Morgana, in what I must say is one of his most badass moments, tries to defend her. But he's a cat. It's not exactly like he has the strength advantage here. Morgana doesn't have any choice to ask for help, and unfortunately, if we've just come out as well, we're just up the road. They get there just in time to help the two of them, but this goddamn creep.
Sorry about the disturbance.
Fiance or not, this man is a world-class prick, and he really needs slapping down. Things are a lot more complicated than we know, and we're certainly going to have to deal with him. More importantly though, we get Morgana back, and he even brings us a new Persona user with him, which is just cool. I knew fighting with Morgana would get us a party member. I've done it a lot earlier. The situation doesn't exactly continue well. Suffice to say, her father continues to be the right royal dick we already knew he was, and she's going to a certain date so she's married off. Yeah, we have no choice but to change his heart. This man is our next target. He's going to be a lot. This guy may even be the one behind the mental shutdowns. Furthermore, Haru is still very new and she's going to slow us down quite a bit. But it must be done. She needs us to do this. We need to help her. We need to stop him. Our interests are perfectly aligned. I do have some other things I still need to do though, things that are nothing related to Okumura, and while I don't always talk about a lot of the things I do outside the palaces, because the palaces are the most important and interesting stuff, these are still important. For example, we befriend this pro gamer kid for a good reason. One of our memento targets is a cheater, that makes him invulnerable, but the kid can help us to beat him. Not main palace stuff, but important. Another thing we do is formally begin our relationship with Oya. We have 4 girlfriends now, and only one is even slightly age appropriate. Oh, the things we do to get as close to completing this game as possible. Also, speaking of things we have to do to be a completionist, we're at a maid cafe. This whole thing is just awkward, but it's very necessary. Even if I wasn't going to try and complete as much of the game in one place as possible, unlocking the special menu which requires a certain number of visits here is an achievement, and I'm definitely getting all of those. We end up getting sidetracked from the Akuma situation with some more main story stuff, specifically with Kasumi. She's basically been threatened with losing her status and privileges if she doesn't win more, which, I don't know, I feel like a lot of pressure and a lot of meanness to push onto a kid. And Kasumi is not doing great about it, for understandable reasons. After we quickly bump into her, we grab something she drops that we need to give back to her, and we end up in a palace. And this is not a palace I recognise at all. This must be some Royal exclusive stuff. Kasumi's gone in, we chase after her in this palace that is definitely far too white. When we eventually find her, we meet someone who is her, but isn't her. It's hard to say right now. All we know is she ends up in trouble, we need to save her, and I quite like Kasumi, so it goes without saying that we will help her. Turns out, she doesn't really need our help. We knew this was coming. We've known this since the start of the game because we saw her then in full Metaverse gear. But now we're finally seeing her transformation and her persona. Oh yeah, she looks really cool. With her help, we're more than capable of dealing with that enemy, and then we get ourselves out of here. We quickly explain everything to her, and she's invited to join the Phantom Thieves, and she declined. That wasn't expected, but I understand her reason. She has too much on her plate as it is. Besides, I already know we'll fight with her again someday. With these distractions done, it's time to head back to Okumura's space station, the palace. Haru is coming with us, but at the moment she's too weak to actually fight with us. We make some more progress until we meet up with Blue Okumura. And also the bastard fiancé. If we didn't know how bad it was, her father is now basically happy to pimp her out to this guy in exchange for whatever benefit he can get out of it. Wow, I knew he was a piece of shit, but this is another level. After Fiancé turns himself into a giant robot, as one does in life, and as Haru says, vulgar, it's more than enough to truly wake Haru's persona. It might have taken her longer than the rest of us, but she is now ready. She is now ready to take that power, and that power apparently requires chain guns out of the bottom of her skirt. It's unusual, but I will admit it's impressive. Haru's Fiancé? Wow. Not happening. It does end up defeating that city actually quite easily. With him done, it's a case of progressing our way through the palace, picking up the will seeds along the way, and so on. In terms of palaces though, this doesn't feel like the best one. I quite like the design, but in terms of getting through it, there isn't really anything special here. On the bright side, I got the arm and use case in Showtime, which is very Japanese and very cool. It's definitely a long palace though, really long. We spend a lot of time in the factory until we get to the infamous tube maze area. This I remember from the stream, and well, and not for any good reasons. I just remember being one hell of a bastard to find my way through. This time, I freely admit I used a guide. After all, I have done this before. More importantly, once that's done, we secure the route to the treasure. Now it's just time to send the calling card. Just after we unlock a new Morgana Haru Showtime. It's just time to make sure he receives it, which you know, as Haru lives with him, it's quite easy. to make sure he gets that very quickly. Now it's time to go and get the treasure. Apparently when we get there though, the base is going to blow up, and also the treasure has been stolen. Perhaps it's no surprise that Okumura is here and waiting for us. And now he cowers to us. Perhaps unsurprisingly, with this prick, he ends up being a complete liar, and this is all his attempt to just pull Haru away from it so he can defeat us. He also tried it with Morgana, it doesn't work with either of them, so now we must fight, and with a 30-minute timer too. And it's also not surprising, he uses his employees as pawns instead of doing it himself. We also meet Cognitive Haru, which, yeah, doesn't look much like the real one. Basically this challenge is trying to take advantage of the enemy's weaknesses and so on, but honestly this boss battle is a pain. I had to try it multiple times. Eventually we work our way to the executive bot, who we beat up. Then he throws his own daughter at us rather than fight, so we beat her up too. We have Haru beat up Haru. And finally it's him, and he's very easy to beat. The man who sends everyone else to fight for him is one who knows he's too weak to do it himself. It stops him, it gets us the treasure, and now we can get out of here, and that wasn't us. That's Okumura's death. Or Shadow Okumura's death, which means mental shutdown? That's how it appears anyway. The party knows nothing yet, they're just focused on getting out of there. It is clear that a mental shutdown is coming though, we're just not sure when. We cannot focus on that now because our characters literally do not know anything about it. We focus on things we can do, like taking Futaba out and getting into a full-on relationship with Hifumi. Also spending time with Dr. Maruki and Kasumi, our new royal characters. And it's nice after all the palace stuff to have a chance to relax. That time doesn't last forever. On the day Haru is to be sold off, her father is having a press conference. We end up at what seems like Persona Disneyland, a little treat arranged by Haru, since we can just watch the conference live. He confesses everything and the palace is officially done, but then it all goes wrong. It is exactly what we feared, exactly what we thought would happen, a full mental shutdown. The worst part? Haru had to watch. Suffice to say, Haru needs to go, and we don't even have a clue if Okumura is dead or alive at this point, but I mean, the guy had a mental shutdown, it doesn't really matter. All we know is it's certainly making Sai and Akechi escalate their investigations. That's not good. Haru has to deal with the police and all that, but it doesn't seem like they know it's us. One thing we do know is our next target. Sai Nijima. It's interesting that our next target is Makoto's sister and the woman who's been interrogating us the whole game, but we can't do anything right now. As the group say when they meet up, we need to keep our heads down and keep a low profile for now, which means being normal teenagers, doing things like playing pool. All these extra game things that got added into Royal. I do love them, they're really cool, plus they give extra perks and stuff. Trying to keep our head down, doing things you wouldn't expect the Phantom Thieves to do, means volunteering to run the student festival. That's good. The bad news is the celebrity guest has been voted on and the school wants Akechi, one of the two people investigating us. That seems like a bad idea, but Makoto makes some good points about how we might be able to find out more from him by speaking to him, so we would invite him. We got a little sidetracked with Mishima since he seems to be a little going off the rails. We don't go for a full change of heart, we do track down his shadow in Mementos and have a little bit of a chat with him. Try and make it seem reasonable. Right, we've got his school festival to deal with now. The festival seems to be going okay and we stick together, which, I don't think it's the best idea for all of us to hang out together in school. After all, it's Kamoshida's victims, Madara's pupil, Sai's sister, Wakaba Ishiki, I am not good with Japanese pronunciation's daughter, Okumura's daughter. I mean, that seems like a suspicious group, doesn't it? Still, it doesn't seem to cause any major suspicion. Akechi doesn't even really seem to notice that. The only one who gets noticed is Yusuke, and that's by Maruki. I'm sure that won't come back later. The next day is time for Akechi's speech, and it seems to be going okay until it's not. And then it's really not. Akechi literally pulled in his speech to talk to us in private, and yeah, he knows. He knows who we are. And he has a persona. The whole thing does seem a little suspicious. He wants our cooperation with something, we don't know what, but he's threatening us, so we don't exactly have a choice. It also gets worse, because Sojiro found Futaba's calling card. Whoops. We should probably get back, but instead we're going to go to dance with Kasumi. That wasn't our choice, but it was fun. Also, Kasumi apparently really didn't need us to dance. I also don't really understand why she hasn't been winning, because she certainly seems to know what she's doing. And then we go to another event with Arm. I guess the Jiro stuff will have to wait. For the moment, not for much longer. After seeing a bit more of the pressure that Sai is currently under, we get the confrontation. The fighter stays he's angry and Futaba doesn't exactly handle it well. But things calm down once it's explained to him, even if he doesn't truly get it. And yeah, that means he knows about us too. He's not exactly happy about the situation, but he's not going to turn us in. That's something. I mean, there's a bounty on us and he doesn't even go for that. Also, Futaba is starting to unravel everything about what's happening to us. It's very clear that we were set up to go after Akumura, likely by whoever was responsible for the mental shutdown, and that we are getting played. But now though, we won't do anything, except for what we need to do with Akechi. He wants us to steal Sai's heart. It doesn't require the level of convincing you would have expected. Sai is after us and she's going extreme lengths to do it, too far. She has a palace and so it makes her a good target. Something weird is going on though, we keep getting these warpy scenes without explanation. It's very odd. Odd or not, we do have a palace we need to defeat and the first thing we do is find out exactly what it is. A casino. Oh! Well, that's a bit familiar, isn't it? Yeah, we're going back to the start of the game. Out of context it doesn't make much sense, but within context it works. We need to sneak in, and once we do break in, we adopt our normal attire, and Akechi is certainly something. Also, side note, Morgana said the outfits we have are what we think a rebel looks like. Does that mean that Arn thinks a rebel looks like a dominatrix? There's definitely a lot to unpack there, but for now we go into the palace, and already we're jumping over the roof. This does feel very familiar, doesn't it? Also, speaking of dominatrixes, which is not a sentence I don't think I've ever used before, we get to meet Shadow Sai, and that is quite a look. I'm not going to focus on it, but I'm certainly a fan. Also, from what she said, it seems like we'll be able to get the treasure if we win fair and square. Like with all the other passes, we can't beat it on the first infiltration, so we do head back. Spend a little bit of time in the real world, starting my bond with Haru before, well, going back. The first thing we need to do is get a membership card, we put in some work before we eventually find one. Going up, we meet Shadow Sai again, something I'm very happy about, and we get to keep progressing if we win some more chips, so let's do it. Took a time to figure out, although I guess there's some grinding, and also see Makoto and Haru's awesome showtime, and then I figure it out. Once we get through there, we find out exactly how to win these games by rigging them, because they're rigged anyway. That helps us to build it up, and rigging the game gets us the points we need, that lets us help to the next level. But it turns out Sai doesn't like us winning, despite the fact that she said it was fine if we did. She will rig it by sending enemies to attack us. We respond by defeating them and moving up. However, we're blocked for now, but we have to return. We head to the real world and we do some side stuff like building our relationship with Akechi. He seems completely trustworthy. We also make a point of putting ourselves in the courtroom with Sai so she can see that we can enter her world. With that, we're allowed to then enter her world, the high rollers area, in the casino and continue to improve our point collection through various means. This casino plays differently from the other palaces. I have to admit I really enjoy it. Sai changes all the rules on us, but more importantly, Akechi is cheating. That's not brilliant, but in this case it benefits us, so we'll take it. More importantly, lowers the bridge and gets us to manager's level, and that's the treasure. Now we need to send the calling card, so we'll just head back for now and do some side stuff like working our way through mementos and building our friendship with Sujira. I also end up in my 5th relationship with Futaba and then continue building things up with Makoto and then getting a relationship with her. That's 6. And also the one I was originally going to go for, so it's one I'm actually happy to get to the end to. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I've got a few evolved personas and now I have another one. They're more powerful than the original one, so it's helpful. Before we can deal with Sai, which sounds weirder than it is, there's a mandatory assembly with Dr. Naruki saying goodbye and meeting up with us. He knows where the Phantom Thieves, but that seems to happen as standard when you max out a relationship with someone, so it's fine. With all that done, it's time to give the calling card to Makoto, who then gives it to Sai, who naturally has a, shall we just say, unpleasant reaction to it. Sexy Sai, however, seems to be much more interested. I don't think I'm going to call her that again, but regardless, it's time to fight her. This does feel quite endgamey, but we're not done yet, or even close. Actually, regardless of how this feels. Apparently the lift takes us up to a giant roulette wheel with our favourite boss on screen. Turns out we're not really fighting her, but gambling on the roulette wheel. Naturally though, we can't win because of course she's rigged it with a glass ceiling. This time we have the means to shatter the ceiling and boom, we win. At that point, Sai has a full-on Lady Dimitrescu moment. Yeah, I've suddenly lost all interest for some weird reason. Beating her now is actually quite easy to transform back to Sai, who clearly isn't a bad person. Distorted? Yes. Problematic? Yes. Borderline illegal? Yes. But she's doing all of this for the right reason. You can understand it even if you don't agree with it. And now shit hits the fan. There are a lot of enemies, and I mean a lot. Something weird is happening. We need a decoy, so I guess I'm volunteering. Ah, now it makes sense. Well, isn't this a familiar cutscene? And a familiar part of the game? And now we meet Arsene again. It's been a minute. We're about to hit the, well, present. And things are obviously going to happen with Arsene giving us the warning we need. Once more we get saved by Kasumi as we did at the start of the game. Which now makes sense, she's just trying to protect the Senpai. But yeah, let's get out of here. Of course, now that we get to see beyond the start, we see Joker getting arrested by the police, and that actually kind of makes sense. Except somehow they're in the metaverse. Even being sold out doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Although it goes without saying that it's Akechi that did it. That's not even based on future knowledge, it just makes perfect sense that the detective who doesn't agree with us, who has threatened to expose us, never agree with our methods, would be the one to betray us. Now we're in the modern world with Igor and the prison guards helping us for reasons that still don't entirely make sense yet, but will. Sai seems to have accepted everything we said as true, which makes me hope her heart has been changed. Also, Sai definitely knows about our accomplices, but it goes without saying we don't betray them. What we can do, however, is make sure that she knows that Goro Akechi needs to be shown a phone, and that he's definitely not one of us. I don't understand why. Well, I'm sure she doesn't understand the significance of it, which makes two of us. She does do it, and we see a bit of the real Akechi. We'll see a lot more of the real Akechi when he kills the security guard, and then murders Joker. Yeah, that is a thing that has just happened. It's also at this point we learn about Shiho, with Akechi ringing him to let him know. We also know that Futaba, at the very least, knew about Akechi's betrayal. Ironically, Sai seems to be more trustworthy now than Akechi is. While all this is going on, our people are just enjoying their normal lives, doing what they normally do, which basically they're just trying to make themselves look like normal students. And then Joker's, air quotes, suicide is announced, and it does seem like everybody is shocked, except for Ryuji. Because of course we're not dead. There was no way the game was going to end like that. Of course Joker was going to be fine, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. That starts to change though. Remember those things where we seem to be missing some details? Well, now we're getting the details. Morgana and Joker having realised, really from the get-go of this, that Akechi was full of crap. A little investigation by Futaba reveals his true intention, and then... Okay, it doesn't explain everything, but one thing is completely clear. Joker is very much alive. That's a relief, and now, if we need more proof, here Joker is, alive and everything. Finally, we understand. Akechi never killed me. He entered the metaverse without realising, thanks to the phone, and went and killed his shadow Joker before Sai's palace was destroyed. That was a lot. But the important thing is Joker's still alive, and both Shido and Akechi think he's dead. We even see them plotting, thinking they've gotten away with this. They have no idea the Phantom Thieves are coming for them. Shido's palace is at the Diet, the Parliament building, and that information alone isn't enough to get there. We do keep guessing, but just guessing randomly doesn't help. Fortunately, we get some clues from seeing a speech of his, but not enough. Eventually, we work it out. He views the Diet as a ship. Weird thing to imagine a Parliament building as, but sure. It does seem normal at first, at least until he turns around. This helps to give us our first bit of understanding of what an arsehole this man is. He literally does not care if the whole Japan drowns, just so long as him and his people survive. His ship though is certainly a lot. It looks at a similar level of gaudy as Madarame Palace, if possible. We already know where the treasure is though, it's in the representative chamber. There's no way we can get in, so our solution is to ask around. Wouldn't normally make much sense to talk to shadows, but in this case they seem to be relatively close to humans, so it's worth a try. We eventually figure out we need letters of introductions from VIP guests, but that will be a lot to handle, so for now we go back. Once back, we do some more normal things, like finishing off Yusuke's friendship stuff, and then doing the same with Chihaya, although the difference is there I actually get a relationship with her, and then Iwai. Then I get the kids' friendship stuff finished off too. As this is relatively close to the end of the game, it's important to make this kind of progress now. Not a ton more time to do that kind of stuff. I do some other bits too. I visit a jazz club with Futaba, partially to get an ability for her, and partially to get one of the last few achievements I needed. I also spend some time with Haru and go fishing, again, achievement and completion stuff. I'm quite insistent on getting this game, maybe not to 100%, but very close in one playthrough. Anyway, we can't do the first stuff forever, so we're back on the ship and we're heading to a restaurant where the first VIP guest is. Makoto tries to talk to him, a politician, to get him to give us a letter of introduction, but he's a snobby arsehole, so we beat it out of him. And that's one. As always, we're getting will seeds, but will seeds aren't really that important now. The important part is getting the letters. And the second one is a man at swimming pool. We talk to him, but he doesn't want to talk to us. However, he is a creep, so Ryuji has an idea to use that to our advantage. And it involves putting all the women in swimsuits and bikinis. Okay, so it's a creepy idea, but considering the kind of man they're dealing with, it may actually be a good one. It wasn't. It sort of was. I mean, it helped us get the letter of introduction, but the downside was the man ended up grabbing on and wouldn't let go. When she pushed back against him, reasonably, he wasn't happy. It's fine with me though, because I didn't like him and now we get to beat his ass. Also, we now have 2 letters. In between these mini bosses though, we have some large areas to get through, which kind of makes sense. It is a massive ship that needs to be something in between, but honestly it's too much. Also, we're mice. Yeah, that's just a thing that happens in the ship. There's a weird statue of him that when they're activated, they turn us into mice. That's the thing. These in between bits though, there's not much to say. I mean, there's some easy puzzles involving the mice stuff and the statues, and they're fine, but it's just too damn long. I get that this is meant to be the biggest palace, but even so, it is too much. Importantly though, we did move beyond that and into the casino, yes, another casino, and we moved on to our third letter from a TV president. Haru handles this one because she actually knows the man personally. The man is unpleasant, also more than happy to trash talk her father. We get the letter, but then he continues to trash him before offering Haru to make money out of that tragedy. Yeah, we need to defeat him, and we do. Kind of showing the game's awareness of just how massive this place is. We end up with a cutscene in the middle of everything, showing Akechi on a show being the kind of lying bastard we expect him to be. Oh well, moving on from that piece of shit, back to the ship, and we find a guy who will give us a letter, or rather he finds us. It's just a stroke many deserve though, so we'll get him later. Our focus now is on getting the final will seed, another set done, and then we move on to the 4th target. He's in his room that's locked, the only way we can get in is via the back door, and Futaba takes this one. After all, this is a tech bro and she's a tech person, so it makes sense. As always with these guys, it doesn't exactly work, so we beat the letter out of him before being treated to another Akechi cutscene, this time featuring Shido. Now we just have a 5th guy to take down some Yakuza musclehead. As with all the others, we try without violence, and as with all the others, it fails, so we handled it the old-fashioned way. The guy is actually quite honourable in defeat, and now we have all 5 letters. Nothing else can go wrong, right? Oh. Hi Akechi, I guess we're fighting you now. Though this is not cognitive Akechi, this is real Akechi. Unlike with the Yakuza guy, we defeat him with a pair of wrestlers. I was very impressed by my own ability when I did this, thinking to myself, wow, I remember this fight being hard, I must have done tons more grinding, and I'm now so much better than last time. Turns out, he has a 2nd form, and by that I mean a 2nd persona. And yeah, now this is the guy we saw. The 2nd version of him is a lot stronger than the original one, but we're still stronger. We still beat him. In beating him, he doesn't exactly calm down and turn back, but he at least sees, not even reason, he just stopped. Do you know what's worse than Akechi though? 2 Akechis, and one that is here to kill the other. This is the moment where Akechi finally redeems himself by buying us the time to escape. Ironically, we get our blood oath with him, just as he dies. Gotta make sure that sacrifice is not in vain, and sure enough it wasn't. We get to the representative chamber, and yeah, that's Shido's treasure. Now it's just simply a case of making sure that we're ready and sending out the calling card. Fortunately for us, Futaba's already got a plan for that. This will be unlike any calling card we've ever sent out before. Remember what I said about that? Yeah, when I called it a calling card, I didn't mean it to a card. Best way to call this man out is a live broadcast everywhere. Suffice to say, Shido saw this and seemed to be quite concerned, assuming he thought we never would get this far, but we are, and now we're going all the way. Shido, you son of a bitch, you are going down. The treasure appears to be a giant ship's wheel. And there's Shido. He does actually try to convince us to join him, which isn't a surprise considering how many people he's successfully done that to. But we don't, of course. Then he ascends to heaven and becomes a comic book dictator. Specifically a comic book dictator riding a lion made out of the souls of those he sacrificed. Well, that's a bit on the nose. I can remember this battle before being a real challenge and a half. I think, if memory serves, when I did this, I actually dropped the difficulty on stream. But this time, he wasn't a problem. Before long, he became a lion with wings, and then a little while later, he became possibly the most hideous and disturbing pyramid I've ever seen. I finally took him down with a combination of Yusuke and just beating the crap out of him. We remind him of our past connection, our reason to hate him, and that results in another battle, where he decides to go shirtless. I'm not sure we agreed on skins, but sure, we can do that. Our party beat the crap out of him, so completely he ended up pushing the rest of the party away. I'm assuming he thinks he can defeat me if it's just the two of us. He was wrong. It made it more difficult, but he was very wrong. Joker alone was more than enough to take down the loser. We managed to get an apology from him in the metaverse, but the real Shido decided to take some extreme measures by literally killing himself, temporarily, to collapse the palace. A ridiculously insane risk to take just to avoid taking responsibility for the things he's done. It works though, the ship is just fully collapsing. Ryuji does manage to help get us out of there with some pretty impressive footwork, but then he dies. Yeah, Ryuji is dead. That is 100% what just happened. This isn't the game trying to pull a fast one on us and make us upset, right? Yeah, no, it was. For surviving, he gets slapped and then gets the crap beaten out of him. Okay, so I might not be the biggest Ryuji fan out there, but even I have to admit, that guy can't catch a break. Also, Shido also can't catch a break. He might have attempted to stop us taking his treasure and leaving the palace, but he failed. Distorted desire gone, and he is well and truly remorseful, which he should be. Look at LeBlanc's. So Jiro, however, is fine. Shido did kidnap him and trash the place, but yeah, we fixed that. Now we're just waiting, and we do some fun stuff while we're waiting. Things like going to Mementos and kicking the crap out of the Grim Reaper. He beat us once before, but it was nice to go back and beat him. We also defeated a giant penis, which, yeah, that's what we did. We did some more social stuff, like committing to a relationship with Haru. I've lost track of how many times I've done that now. Other relationship stuff includes finishing off the bond with Mishima, which was not romantic, which thank God, because I really didn't like him. And also with Maru, which evolved her persona. Maru? Haru? Who's Maru? Also means, I don't know, I'm not saying something else happens, but you know, you can't help but wonder. Also, did changing Shido's heart work? Yes, it did. He won. He did technically become Prime Minister, but in his victory speech he confesses everything, so he won't stay there. More importantly, Futaba was able to avenge her mother, Haru avenged her father, plus Joker got some payback. All in all, job well done. So the game's done, right? Not even close. After all, we've still got to finish off the maid cafe. We also have some more serious stuff, which means we're definitely not finished. Shido's heart may have been changed, but yet nothing has changed. The general public either hasn't noticed or don't care that something is clearly wrong. Morgana's idea is that everyone's mind has been distorted, and the only way to fix it is to take the treasure of everybody, specifically the treasure of Mementos. The downside of that, though, is it will also take our ability to travel to the metaverse. It's a heavy price, but one we are going to have to pay. So after finishing our bond of friendship with Morgana and getting his persona transformation, we head down to Mementos. If I hadn't been doing all the work between palaces down here, I would have to do it all now. And I had to do quite a bit on stream. This time though, we head straight to the bottom and that's the door. And then there's this thing. The depth of Memento is certainly an odd place. It's a hell of a palace and also a prison where everyone seems to be a willing prisoner. Very odd. Also, Morgana seemed to know this place, but it's a little unclear. Progressing is the usual mix of enemies and puzzles. Obviously it's challenging, but not really any worse than what we've done in the past. All in all, it's pretty easy. You know who I didn't expect to see? Kamoshida, Madarame, Kaneshiro, even Shida. Turns out Kamoshida hasn't really changed that much. It seems like when we destroyed their palaces, they ended up here in a prison literally of their own making. To say this is a bit messed up is a massive understatement, but I get where the game is going with this. These people are now free. Free from thinking for themselves, free from making decisions, free from living their own lives, and that is a form of prison. I like the symbolism of it, but enough of the poetic symbolism. We need to keep progressing, and we find Morgana's birthplace, or creation place, really. It looks like he's not as human as we always assumed he was. We don't have all the answers though, so we keep moving. To a place that holds everyone's treasure. When we see this treasure, it's certainly a lot, and suffice to say it's going to be one big final fight. The cover is actually quite easy to beat down, but it keeps healing back up the fall, and eventually when it gets healed it becomes fully gold. Eventually we realise that we can't defeat it, and then we promptly get thrown out of the metaverse. I mean, that is a lot of power from an enemy. That is a different kind of boss. But don't worry, it only gets worse. Not only were we forced back to the real world, but mementos have started to bleed out into the real world as the two are fusing. And it appears that nearly nobody has noticed. The only people noticing are the people bonded with us. Everyone else is clueless. But don't worry, there's no way this could ever get any worse, right? It's not like we're gonna just fade away or something. Oh, that's exactly what happened. But don't worry, we're still alive, at least in this realm, and Igor turned out to be a bit of a dick. And by a bit of a dick, I mean a real dick, because he's just sentenced me to death. Caroline and Justine are meant to execute us, but the two of them don't exactly seem keen on the idea. Which is quite a good thing, because it turned into a battle with them, and we can't move, and they're just laying into me. The battle ends not because I win, but because they stop attacking me, because they understand that something is wrong. They understand that their place is not to kill. At this point you're probably very confused, but don't worry, you're meant to be. We're all meant to be. A voice is talking to us, one we've heard before who needs our help, and we do at least understand some of it. These two shouldn't exist, they are one person split in half, and Igor seems to know but does nothing. But don't worry, we will put them together by executing them. The same way we would fuse personas, but it seems a bit weird to do it to a couple of kids. So, this is Lavenza, and perhaps more importantly, this is not Igor. But apparently we still end up with a blood oath to Igor, despite it not being him. Sure. He offers us a deal, which I imagine must be incredibly tempting, to restore the world back to what it was, with the Phantom Thieves as the heroes of the world. Very tempting, except for the fact that it would involve the public still being imprisoned and enslaved. No deal. The one who is finally unprisoned is, well, Igor. It's the real Igor with a much different voice. I dare say the voice now suits his appearance a lot more than the old one. Now we simply have to save the Phantom Thieves before they fade away, which if they're just stuck in cells is easy. Side note, it feels weird to be able to walk around the Velvet Room. Cool, but weird. Anyway, teammates. It's honestly pretty similar for all of them. Considering they've all essentially failed as Phantom Thieves, they are understandably pretty despondent and ready to give up. Once they find that will of rebellion though, they're back. We bring them to Igor, and this will be a lot to explain. But we end up learning more, like how Morgana was created by Igor specifically to come to me, assemble this group and all that. Why? So we can fight back against this so-called god that has the hearts of humanity imprisoned. Long story short, we, both Joker and the rest of the team, but especially Joker, were dragged into an evil game, essentially pitting us against Akechi for his own amusement. With our victory, humanity was supposed to be spared, but it seems like he's not following his own rules anymore. We've only been left with one option, and it's what we knew. We have to end him. To get there though, well, it's another palace, sort of. It's not really a palace, it's actually in reality. But also, this palace is really just running up like a long staircase to get there. We get a few angels thrown at us. We take out the first one without issues. Suffice to say, there are a lot of powerful enemies here, like a multitude of giant penises. But we handle them. Poor phrasing. The second angel gets sliced a bit by Yusuke and Arn, and the third one is beaten before long too. With every one of their deaths, the people get a bit closer to understanding exactly what's happening to them, but they won't be saved until we stop the big bad. Oh yeah, also I forgot there was one more, which was naturally the hardest, but we still got him. The bastard tried to stop us from getting to him by collapsing the bridge, but it'll take more than that. It's fake ego again. Nope, never mind, it's the Holy Grail, and that means the same problems we had before with the whole healing itself thing. That's okay though, we'll deal with that issue by getting Haru to cut the links to the people. Now it can't heal. Now that it can't heal, it's pretty easy to beat, so this final boss was easy. No, of course it isn't. As always with a battle like this, it has another form, and that form is a full-on god. So I guess we are now here to kill God. Okay then. The battle is quite difficult. He has many different weapons he can pull out and do different things, and are weak to different things. So you end up having to target them and him. We need to take him down, but we have to sort of stop the weapons because the weapons do damage and we can't really let it kill us. God or not though, we still defeat him. But of course he's not dead yet. Of course he pushes us down. But he underestimates two things: the power of the people, the power of the Phantom Thieves. They are more than supporting us. And as a result, we're up, we're ready to destroy him. And now I think it's time for something a little stronger. Arsene may be our persona, but he's not powerful enough for this. To destroy a god, you need a demon lord. And just one bullet. With that bullet fired, he's dead. The treasure is ours, and the world appears to be frozen. It's not, it's actually just returning to its natural state. However, with the metaverse fading away, Morgana can't stay either. At first I assumed it was a fake out, but no, he's really gone. The good news is though, the sacrifice was not in vain. The Phantom Thieves have truly saved the world. So that's that, right? Well, no, because now Sai wants us to hand ourselves in so we can make sure Shido goes to prison. It makes sense. As hard as this decision is to make, because we're not really a criminal, we kind of have to... Oh wait, never mind. Turns out, Akechi is turning himself in. I'm not entirely sure how he's alive, but I suppose we never saw him die. So I guess we just have to thank him for really filling our place, because now we don't have to go to prison. That's the surprise way for it to end. Of course though, this isn't really the end of the game. We still have a decent bit to do, starting with going on a date on Christmas Eve. Which I don't remember having to pick who I was dating before, but then I didn't have 9 partners before. Makoto had a choice, and she's the one I was originally going to date anyway, and that was a fun night, and now it's Christmas. Japanese Christmas isn't exactly like our Christmas, but it still looks fun. Everyone is still missing Morgana though, which is understandable. Oh wait, never mind, it was a fake out. Of course he's here, of course the game didn't know a fake out. More importantly though, the chief has fried chicken. That's far more important than Morgana. It was a fun time. Then we get a bit of a time skip, which I didn't expect, with a New Year's party with the Phantom Thieves, as well as Kasumi and Sai, who I guess at this point are honorary Phantom Thieves. It feels like a great way to end the year, and honestly I'd love to have a party like this in real life. It just seems fun. That night though, things get weird. It appears to be a dream, but then so did all the trips to the Velvet Room, and they weren't dreams. Not entirely sure what's happening here, but it's weird. The next morning we're going back as normal, although there's some kid here we don't know. Also, Futaba's looking, well, nothing like Futaba, and also apparently she picked this outfit with her mother? Okay. I don't know what's going on, but we have planned to visit a Shinto shrine with Kasumi, so we better head off. We head out there and meet up with her, and apparently also everybody else, which is a fantastic and almost impossible coincidence. There's some weird stuff happening. Also, Haru mentioned meeting up with her dad, and Futaba talking about her mother again. And something very strange is going on right now, but I don't think it's entirely sunk in with Joker yet. Things continue to be weird when we wake up to that weird guy being in bed with us. That's a different term. Also, when we get downstairs, Wakaba. She's back from the dead, and it seems that nobody's actually noticed that. And also the weird guy is apparently Morgana. I mean, that does explain why he was in our bed, but why exactly is he human? Oh well, it can't get any more weird than this, right? Never mind, he's Akechi. He seems quite friendly, and also very aware of everything that's wrong here. Also, that's a good point. Exactly how is he out of prison? He was released without charge for multiple murders. the man committed multiple murders and he was released despite confessing to every single crime. So it seems that the two of us are aware that reality has changed, but nobody else has noticed. Well, Kasumi seems to have noticed something odd. I mean, this is different, but it may be connected. Apparently she can see a palace, but the metaverse is gone. And also, as Akechi said, she's not even in the metaverse. So yeah, we had there is a palace and there is the metaverse. No idea who or even what this palace is, but it's a problem. I guess we're going to head back into that mysterious palace. It's the same one we visited before with Kasumi. I assumed we'd come back here at the end of the game to this mysterious palace, and I was right. I also assumed I'd come back here with Kasumi, which again I was right. But I will admit, I never expected Akechi. The palace seems to have changed a bit, because last time it was empty and now it's full of people. Also enemies that don't like us very much, and things to do with Kasumi. Specifically having to see Kasumi's father crying over Kasumi's dead sister. Why on earth did we have to see that? And why did Kasumi have to see that? It's affecting her, understandably, and also more than the obvious trauma. Things continue to get weird, and Kasumi related when we see someone who I'm guessing is Kasumi's sister? Yeah, it's her. It's called... well, they call Kasumi Sumire. And then we hear a voice, a man's voice warning her. A man's voice that is familiar. I didn't know what to expect as the palace's ruler, but Dr. Maruki definitely wasn't the guy I thought I'd see. He never struck me as the kind of guy who would even have a palace, but here we are. It's a different kind of palace to those we faced before. And we do get confirmation that, yeah, he is responsible for everything affecting the real world. That means we have to stop him. However, stopping him isn't going to be quick and easy because there are issues with Kasumi. It still doesn't make sense. We seem to be seeing her with a different hair colour and... oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a lot. So she's not Kasumi, she's Sumire. And also Maruki's first patient, turning Sumire into Kasumi because he believed it was the best thing for her mentally. I can understand the desire to make her feel better truly, but changing her cognition to make her believe a lie doesn't help anybody. Maruki is doing this on a massive scale, changing everybody's lives to fulfill essentially all their dreams. It's made everyone's life better and they're much happier, but it's a lie. It's a false fantasy created by a madman. But for some people it's a hard decision to choose between the perfect fantasy and the horrific reality, and Sumire can't make the right decision, which I understand. She needs our help, but Maruki doesn't see it that way, so he attacks us. The enemy he makes us fight is difficult, but we manage to finish it off with a quick and brand new Akechi/Joker showtime. Doesn't change Maruki's mind though. We have a deadline. We've got a week to see this new reality he's created. I'm assuming he's hoping that it will convince us that it's the right reality because of how much better it is, and then we get sent back. We agreed to take that week, but only because we really need some time to get ready to take him down, but we will have a look around and we'll see how people are doing. When we get back, we have a chat with Morgana. It's still weird to see him as a person, and it seems to click with him that something's wrong about that. That's what we're going to be doing, seeing people and seeing how their life is. First up we go and see Ann, who seems very happy being close to Shido, who is still at Shujin, because of course all the bad stuff didn't happen. She's happy, but it's still wrong. Next up we see Makoto and Sai, and they also seem very happy, and I realise why. Their father is still alive. Oh, Jesus. Next up we see Futaba, her mother, and Sojiro, and... oh, this is getting harder. Like, it's not a conventional family, but they're a really great one. Haru, in the meanwhile, not only has her father alive, but he's a good person, they're working together. Because it seems all the Kamoshida stuff never happened, Ryuji's still part of the trap team and he loves it. As for Yusuke, he's still with Madarame, and Madarame is the fantastic sensei he should have always been. Akechi is right though. He's a bastard, but he's right. As happy as everyone is, it is a lie. It is a literal fantasy world. It's better to live in a bad reality than in a perfect fantasy. That's why we head to Metaverse. As we're doing that though, the team meets up. During my conversation with them, it's all starting to click that something is wrong, like they're running away from the truth, and then the penny drops. As all that happens, we're back in the palace and having a chat with the first lying bastard. Despite him trying to convince us, we cannot accept his reality. Sumire though, Sumire still can't get that. She's even willing to fight us. It's not a fight she can win, but Maruki doesn't really care about that. He has no problem infecting her persona and then throwing that at us. The thing is powerful, but as it turns out, not powerful enough to get past Ryuji, because the gang's all here. Well, I guess it's now the gang and Akechi, but if anything that makes us more powerful. Now let's deal with the bad guys. With our friend, it's easy and we managed to save Sumire, as much as someone can be saved when they now have to deal with a pretty horrific reality. Now is not the time to continue with the palace though, because Sumire needs time to recover. It seems like Futaba and the others will as well. As we go back to sleep, we head to the relevant room for the first time in a while, with Lavender happy to help us once more. We also meet up with Sumire. It's going to take a while to get used to not calling her Kasumi. She's apologetic but also a bit of a mess right now. That's to be expected. For now we'll carry on without her, meet up with the duos, and our conversation is interrupted by a phone call from Lavender. I didn't know she could do that. She'll meet us and help us out. For now, a nice chat with Morgana and the second evolutionist persona. Yeah, that's a thing we can do now. We'll get the rest later. For now we're going to, rather appropriately, Dr. Maruki's office. And Akechi here too. Fantastic. Wonderful to see him. Now for the details. Long story short, Dr. Maruki basically took the place of the god of control when we defeated him, took his place with mementos, which essentially makes him something of a god himself. We know we have a little over 3 weeks to beat him, and we will. I just hope Mary listening in isn't going to cause a problem. No, turns out she's fine, thankfully. Or at the very least she will be. We know that for sure. We head to the palace and find her there. She's ready to live in reality and fight Dr. Maruki, so let's tackle the palace for real now. All we need is for Sumire to truly unlock her own power, her real power, as Sumire, and she manages exactly that. And yes, she's 100% ready for a fight. Now it's truly time for the palace, and honestly so far it's not really anything special. This is the one palace I've never done before, the new one that got added in the royal version, so I was hoping there'd be something new and unique about it, but at least not right now, there isn't. We get cut off part way though, because it turns out we can't finish this because it's directly linked to Memento. We need to sort that stuff out to unlock access to the full facility. I guess that's different, but ultimately it's just visiting Mementos, which we've done a fair few times. We will do that, but we have to do some other things first, like evolving people's personas. First up is Arms, where we go and have a chat with her in her bedroom. Oh my. Still, new persona. We also spend time in Ryuji's bedroom for the same thing, and this time Joker makes the joke. Still, another evolution, easy enough. Actually, it seems like all of these seem to be happening in people's bedrooms, because next up we're in Futaba's. Once we get her new persona, we go to Yusuke and get his new persona, which honestly looks weirder than the original, but it's Yusuke, so it tracks. We also go and spend some time in Makoto's bedroom and Haru's bedroom. Joker spends a lot of time in his girlfriend's bedroom, doesn't he? With all of the bedroom stuff out of the way, yes. Read that how you will, we head down to the depths of Mementos, and this has definitely changed. There's pipes are new. He has taken the place of the Holy Grail for sure. There's something new too, behind it. Looks like we have more Mementos to do. We've also been given some regular missions, so we might as well get those done. This new area takes a while to get through. It's a big new area, but we get to the end, to the part that connects Mementos to Dr. Maruki's realm. With a little bit of hacking, we're done. Now we can head off to the real world and do the important things like playing video games and getting another girlfriend, because, you know, 9 just wasn't quite enough. We were right though, the stuff in Mementos is what we need to progress. We continue going through the quite weird therapy facility, picking up real seeds and stuff on the way. Not that we need them at this point, there's only one achievement connected to it that we got, you know, relatively near the start of the game, but I still like getting them. We learn more of Maruki's past, the losses he suffered, and the first time he changed someone's cognition. We also got to see Joker and Simire's showtime, which honestly looks so goddamn cool. I mean, seriously, I think that is the best showtime out of all of them, easily. We see more video of the Matt Maruki's past, his failure to get anywhere with his research before we go through a mental assessment. Which is odd, because if we pick the wrong options, we get attacked. It's a weird type of therapy, attacking people who are wrong. We get through this interesting therapy and see more of the past, the time he shared with Samire and how he affected her cognition, and later when he met his persona. And then we reach some gardens, which honestly make me feel like the Garden of Eden or something close to that. And getting that done means we all just have to send the calling card now. But before that, we'll mop up a few more achievements and then get Samire's persona evolved. Then we have a chat with Maruki, the real Maruki, who is very much aware of what's going on in his palace. He's also brought Akechi here, because Akechi is always a fun addition to a conversation. Actually, there was a good reason for it. You remember when we assumed he's dead? Yeah, that's because in reality he is. This is another one of Maruki's distortions. Does that stop Akechi? Nope. Have to admit, I'm impressed. Him sacrificing his life to restore reality. That is a hell of a sacrifice to make. There's nothing more we can do now but to go in and fight Maruki. Will he just stand by and let us take his treasure? Of course not. Turns out the bastard really does have a persona. This battle is hard. He's protected by tentacles that have different strengths and weaknesses, and they protect him. It reminds me a bit of a combination of the Madarame and Kanashiro boss battle, but a lot harder. He takes a while to go down, but eventually we do get him. Of course it's not the end though. We get the treasure, the place collapsing, we have to get out of there, but Maruki follows. And whoops, now his persona is a god. Taking him down though actually wasn't that difficult. When he fuses with his persona though, well, this version is going to be more challenging, but again we didn't come this far and play so many hours, well over 100 at this point, to just give up, so we beat the crap out of him again. And of course once more we have to get out of here, and it seems like a car won't be enough. But it's okay, Morgana is now a helicopter. That's just a thing. Unsurprisingly, Maruki doesn't want to let us go. He drags us back down and wants yet another fight. With that finally done, it's done. We stop him, we save him, and that is the final palace completed. We choose the correct path, even if it is the wrong one, and both Igor and Lavender are proud of us. I guess that's the last time we'll see them. We also have no idea what happened to Joker, and there's nothing we can do, so we head back to Jiro's and learn the truth. Joker's in prison. Of course he is. Akechi testified against Shido, but that was in a distorted reality. In the real one, Joker is the only person who could testify. Also, there's no Morgana again, but as Futaba points out, it's a recycled gag. The Phantom Thieves aren't done yet. It's time for their final mission. Getting Joker out of prison. It's not just the Phantom Thieves though, it's literally everyone. And with that, maybe it'll be enough. When we finally get back to Joker, he is in prison. The Velvet Room kind of prison, with the door wide open. We finally gain the final power, the world. That's not really explained, but okay. Back in reality, we meet Sai. And yeah, the Phantom Thieves did it. We're going home. Sajira comes and picks us up, and we're back in the Bronx where we belong. However, we're not staying for long, because we're moving back home. Well, in a month. We have some time. Time enough to pick a date for Valentine's Day. I have 10 choices, but Mikoto is always the one. We spend the day with her, and then we see the sister just after that. So many jokes I can make right now, but I won't. However, this is the last time we're having a positive interaction today. Remember about the whole 10 girlfriend thing? Well, 9 of them are here, and they're pretty pissed. Which, considering what we did, is entirely reasonable. We had it coming. So apparently Sajira covered for us and cleared it all up, and now it's all just fine. Works for me. Also, massive time skip, and the Phantom Thieves are splitting up. Everyone is going off and doing their own thing, really just getting their life together and back on track. A lot of us met during turbulent periods of our life, but now people are getting back to where they should be. We still have White Day to do, which I've never heard of, but apparently it's like a second Valentine's Day. Sajira says we can use it as a chance to make up with women we pissed off, but the girlfriend I want is Mikoto, so she's the one to go with. We go to the aquarium, back to a restaurant, and now it's time for the final day. The final day, I swear, is just designed to make you sad. Going around talking to everyone and saying goodbye, trying to make it as hard as possible for you. Once it's all done, we head out. Naturally, the Phantom Thieves are here, but they're still being followed. Well, I think still.
What should we do?
Being followed is new, but considering the police know who we are, it's reasonable. Joker gets out of there with a little help from Dr. Maruki. guess a change of heart really does do a lot of good.
Come back.
We get our
We'll find
goodbyes
you
with the
there.
team, thankfully, and then we're on the train and we're done. We see a little our team's future in the credits, but yeah, aside from that, we are finished. Persona 5 Royal is finally completed. A game I've literally been saying, I'll get to that eventually, since 2021 has finally been completed. And I suppose now I have to talk about it, don't I? Honestly, I don't have much else to say other than I just love this game. It's such a fun game, really strong story with many twists and turns. The biggest endorsement I can say is that this game was a 140-hour project, and I've done a decent number of them over the years, and I've enjoyed a lot of them. Probably all of them, because if I didn't give them up, then that says I must have enjoyed them. This may be the first time though that I've ever spent that much time on a game, and I haven't been happy to see it end. I wanted the Persona 5 Royal story to continue. I would have happily done another path or two. However, we won't be done with the Persona 5 franchise. There's a couple of sequels to this. Well, to the original games. There's no Sumire or Maruki, unfortunately, but you know, there's still sequels. So we will return to this world, likely on stream. For now though, at the end of the longest script for a video I've ever written, and the longest amount of audio I've ever recorded, I simply want to say thank you for watching, especially if you are here right now. I truly appreciate you all. My name is EvolvedPixel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you all very, very soon. Now I'm going to go and rest my voice. God, that was a long script. Take care, everyone.